With Nottingham Forest secured in the Premier League for next season. Yes, let me say it again. Forest will play in the Premier League season. The transfer talks have begun and Hendo is high on the agenda. Good morning, good evening, or good night, wherever in the world you are, whatever time of day you're watching this. Hope you're having a fantastic day and welcome to your latest Forest transfer news. Yes, we're straight back into it after Forest have secured their Premier League status for next year. It doesn't stop. We will not rest on our laurels. We will go straight into transfer news, and the transfer news is thick and fast incoming. Now, we've got stories on Hendo, a backup goalkeeper. We'll touch on positions Forest may need to strengthen, but more importantly, Forest will need to have a few outgoings as well this summer as they look to thin the herd a little. If you're enjoying the content, guys, please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to Forest Fan TV, and don't forget tonight at 8:30, the show you guys all love, Beat the Drop. Who will be going down? I can tell you one team for sure, it won't be, and that's us. And don't forget, there's only a few tickets left on Lottie's shirt, signed, framed Lottie shirt. Make sure you click on the link in the description and pin to the comments to go grab your tickets. And of course, we'll be talking about Lodi as well today. So let's get into the news, but let's start with Hendo. One thing you can say for sure about Dean Henderson is that he does not lack any passion when it comes to Nottingham Forest. The man bled Forest through and through throughout the season while he was between the sticks until he got his injury in January. Now, come January and the injury, yes, we can talk about all the spin that was delivered to us, but it was obvious once Navas came in that Hendo was going to be out for a while. And Hendo has been out for the rest of the season, as in from January till the end of the season, which technically did end his loan deal in terms of the fact that he would not be playing again for Forest this year. However, what could have happened in those scenarios was that he could have gone back to Man U to receive the treatment. The loan deal could have been ended depending on what clauses there were in the contract. But what was clear to see was the passion for Forest was still within Henderson, because he was there at the game for Arsenal at the weekend and he was there as if he was one of our own. And that really does send a huge buying signal for me for Nottingham Forest to Henderson. I am sure these discussions have taken place already at the City ground, but it has come out in reports that Henderson and Nottingham Forest are looking to strike a deal with Manchester United. The problem we've got is that no loan to buy option was put in the contract at the start of the season. There was talks that it was going to be around 20 million, which I thought would be a fantastic price for him. However, Manchester United did not agree to this. And now, because of how he's performed for Forest throughout his loan period, as I said at the start of the season, and my worry for this would be that the price would be bumped up. And it is now looking like Manchester United want 30 million for Dean Henderson. 30 million for a goalkeeper is a lot. It's in the realms of what Arsenal paid for Ramsdale when they signed him. And on top of that, Dean Henderson's wages are around 100 to 110k a week. Is he worth that much? Now, 100k these days in football isn't really a big deal. I mean, if you compare it to what Chris Wood is on, he's on around 90k a week. So if you make that comparison, is Dean Henderson worth 10k a week more than Chris Wood? Then the answer is absolutely categorically yes. I think I'm worth more than 10k a week on Chris Wood. So it's all relative. And does it really matter? Because at the end of the day, it's the Greek father who will make the decisions on the purse strings. And if he's happy to pay it, I'm happy for them to go ahead. But I really would have liked it for around 20 million. Now, there's a long road to go to get this one over the line. And there will be other parties that are interested. I can see the likes of Chelsea, the likes of Spurs, all wanting to have a say on this transfer deal. But I think we hold the advantage because Dean Henderson has been in Forest for the last 12 months. He is settled in there. He knows the staff. He knows the players. He knows, everyone in there. And settlement is a really good thing. The other thing is that he is guaranteed to be the starter because Navas will be going back to PSG as well. That loan deal will come to an end. Thank you for the game against Leeds, Navas. There have been some parries that have blown my mind throughout the season, but overall, you got to kind of respect what Navas has done. But for me, my first choice was always Dean Henderson, and I would be happy for him to go ahead and do it and sign up. However, the only thing that niggles in the back of my mind is Livakovic. Livakovic has a less than 10 million euro clause on a release, and he is a fantastic goalkeeper. But would it be too risky to go down that road? Forest were linked it with him in January and decided to go down the road of Navas. But Livakovic looks like he'll be a keeper on the move this summer. I still personally think Hendo would be the right choice for me. Whatever the fee is, whatever the salary is during weekly, I don't think it matters too much to us as fans, nor should it really, because that's the club's problem, not ours. What we need to judge him on is between the sticks. Now, was he good between the sticks? I think he was fantastic. The only criticism that's been thrown at him this season has been his distribution. But I do put that down to the way we were playing while he was between the sticks, with options not really open to him. But as this team is settling and as this team is developing, you would expect the understanding to increase week on week, if not, throughout the preseason period, etc. A whole preseason with Hendo there could be a fantastic thing. So for me, this one would have my blessing because he is proven for us already. With transfers, they're always risky. You never know if they're going to be good or not. A new player coming in, maybe his family doesn't settle. Maybe he doesn't get on with the management or something. And that's why this Henderson one should be very smooth because he's already settled in Forest. He's already proved himself between the sticks. Think of the game against Liverpool. Think of the game against West Ham, that penalty save. He's had so many amazing moments this season. And I'm convinced he would be the right person. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Now, sticking with the theme of goalkeepers, and George Wickham has been linked to Nottingham Forest, the Fulham goalkeeper. However, this one doesn't make too much sense to me as we still have Horvath to come back from Luton on loan. In a way, you can understand it because the season he's had at Luton, it's unlikely he would want to come back to play second fiddle to Dean Henderson. But it has been raving reviews about him from the Luton brigade. So for me, he's probably going to be a goalkeeper that goes out. And that's why you can understand a secondary goalkeeper link. I think Hennessy is done at Nottingham Forest. And I think we will see him either retire or move on in the summer. He was... I've had my thoughts on him this season. I've made it very clear. However, just before Navas did come in, he had a decent game. But that's all I can really say about him. So I would understand if Hennessy has moved on. He's probably brought some great experience, great knowledge into the backroom staff to help those goalkeepers around him, maybe with the youth goalkeepers as well. So I can see that happening. And I can probably see Horvath moving on as he wants to get first choice goalkeeper position in a club. Will that be with Luton? No. As things develop, we will let you know. But let's move on from goalkeepers. It comes as no surprise that Jesse Lingard will be released at the end of his contract, which will be sometime in June. Jesse, flattered to deceive in my opinion, didn't do too much at Nottingham Forest, although you have to admit he was a great cheerleader from the dugout where he was really passionate about cheering on the boys and helping them forward. Does that merit 100k or 200k or whatever the rumors are about how much he is taking weekly? For me, no. If you look at it objectively, Jesse Lingard has been a complete and utter flop at Nottingham Forest, with his best moment coming against Spurs in the Carabao Cup and against Blackburn in the same competition. Outside of that, he had one half of an assist against West Ham earlier on in the season when Owoni put the winner in for us to beat them 1-0. But honestly, he is a player that has absolutely frustrated me with a lot of mistakes on the pitch and not a lot of productivity. Do you guys want to see Jesse Lingard remain? It is hugely unlikely, in fact, almost certain that he won't be a Forest player come the start of the next season. Let me know in the comments down below. Renan Lodi, one of my favourite players at Nottingham Forest, one of the best left backs in my opinion in the country, may or may not remain as a Forest player. A message on his Instagram came out where he thanked the fans, talked about why he got emotional on the pitch, talked about his wife and kid back in Spain and how he struggled at the beginning to settle at Nottingham Forest. And it was a very interesting post. What does it mean though? Is that his goodbye, or is that his way of letting us understand what he's gone through now that the season has finished and we get a bit more insight into it? I don't know on this one. I think he is a must-buy for Forest. I think I know we got a loan to buy option on him, which is fantastic to see. It's somewhere in and around 25 to 30 million euros. We already paid a 5 million euro loan fee on him. And I think we've more than had a return on our investment there. He has clearly settled in, especially with the likes of Felipe, Scarpina and Danilo coming into the team, giving him that community around him. He is very good friends with Felipe. Both the families know each other, and I would love to see him stay. However, please don't forget we have backup in that left back position with Harry Toffolo, who has been a solid player in my opinion throughout the season, and the one-legged man that is Omar Richards, who may grow his leg back come the start of next season. Who knows? An injury like that I have never seen in my life before. As I've mentioned before, Christian Eriksen died, came back to life, had a pacemaker put in, did all that quicker than Omar Richard recovered from a stress fracture in his leg. It's unbelievable. But remember, Lodi was brought in as cover for Omar Richards. Omar Richards was Forest's front target and first choice for left back. So is it likely that Lodi signs? I have my suspicions that we won't see him in the Garibaldi next season. But I would love to be wrong on this one because he has been a revelation and a breath of fresh air, especially with how he's worked with Niakate and Felipe at the back. But what do you guys think? One, would you like to see Lodi remain? And two, do you think he will remain? That's the big question. Let me know in the comments down below. With Forest remaining in the Premier League, Wolverhampton will cash in an extra 5 million from Nottingham Forest, as that was a clause that was built in to the fee for Morgan Gibbs White. And I say thank you and enjoy it. We've mentioned it in a past video, but this is now officially confirmed. £5 million will go to Wolves. They'll be happy about it because it may pay for Diego Costa. But they still need a striker. I've spoken to a few Wolves fans and a few YouTube wing Wolves people very recently, and they still think they did the right thing by getting rid of Morgan Gibbs White. And I laughed in their faces because what a player he's turned out to be. He was one that I was extremely excited about in the summer, and I don't think he's disappointed. Has he got more improvements to make? Absolutely. I think he's a world-class player at the City ground and still has room to improve away from home. And I'm looking forward to see that development into next year. But Morgan Gibbs White has now had his fee raised by 5 million. It's still nowhere near the 42 million that gets quoted and thrown around all over the place. I wish it was, because things like him being called up to the England team would have happened. Forest playing in European football would have happened. There's loads of things like that added up. There was some nice, easy clauses, and there were some real stretch ones. So let's see if those stretch ones do get achieved. And of course, we will keep you posted on here. And with Scott McKenna, his former club will be paid $750,000 as Forest have remained in the Premier League, as that was another clause in his contract. We will do separate videos on the defenders. At the moment, Forest have a lot of centre-backs, and I think we're going to have to get rid of one or two. So in your mind, start thinking about which ones would need to go, and are there any ones you would like to see coming in? There's so much more to talk about, and we'll be bringing you the transfer gossip, the transfer confirmed signings all throughout the summer like we did last year. So make sure you remain tuned in to Forest Fan TV. Guys, don't forget tonight at 8:30, it will be Beat the Drop. Will Jace go easy on Chappie as those two face off in a huge match next weekend? Will Leeds survive? Will Oscar's nerves hold up? And how will Everton Mike be feeling? And of course, because you guys love him, sorry Mike, we'll still be here for the last couple of episodes. We'll see you tonight at 8:30. Before you leave, please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to Forest Fan TV. And I'm telling you now, there's some unreal content coming out for you towards the end of the week. I'll tell you more about it soon, so make sure you tune in. And come on, you Reds.